Are there any other questions? Being a Swami is not putting on a saffron robe. Being a Swami is a certain dedication, a certain commitment, and a certain principle that one lives by. Swami means one who dedicates body, mind, words, and life in the service of God, putting all other things aside, and trying with all earnestness to present these principles to the rest of society. Now, this is a very important occupation within this society for a certain class of men and women to accept. Would you agree? So, in every walk of life, there is a certain uniform. That uniform has two purposes. One is it's practical in the execution of our duties, and two is it denotes to the rest of society what we're there for, so that they can take best advantage of our services. Correct? A policeman is a policeman whether he has his uniform on or not. Correct? But is there a value in the policeman wearing a uniform? If a policeman looks like everyone else and dresses like everyone else, if you need a policeman, you'll never find him. Right? So therefore, it's very important that he wears that particular uniform, so that people could identify with him and take advantage of what he has to offer. Similarly, in a policeman's uniform, he's equipped with his gun, his cane, whatever. So therefore, it's very, very practical for him to do his job with the different aspects of his uniform. Another thing is this: it helps that policeman remain law-abiding. Because if a policeman is seen in his uniform doing something foolish or frivolous, everyone's going to immediately say, what kind of a nonsense policeman? Because if a policeman is seen in his uniform doing something foolish or frivolous, everyone's going to immediately say, what kind of a nonsense policeman are you? Huh? So by wearing his uniform, he's forced to act according to his role. So in this sense, it helps him do his service. It helps him to keep his mind fixed on his service, and it also helps others to understand who he is. Same with a doctor. A doctor is a doctor no matter how he dresses, but in a hospital, he wears a mask and he wears a hat and he wears all sorts of robes. And so does a nurse. Why does a nurse wear white robes? One is because white is clean, and she has to be in the highest position of sanitation. And because it's so white, if there's any dirt, she knows that I can't wear this. It's not clean. So it helps her in her service. And also, if anyone is suffering and they need a nurse, they can identify with her immediately. Huh? So therefore, we find that those persons who are spiritual directors, in every religion, they have a certain uniform. In the Catholic tradition, there's a priest who wears black and a collar, perhaps, and the nuns who sometimes wear a veil. In India, the Swamis, who are spiritual directors, who are meant to be spiritual leaders for society, helping to give spiritual guidance to humanity, they wear the saffron color, so that you can identify, here is a person. If I have any questions about God or about the goal of life, I can ask him. I know where he is. And even if I have nothing to ask him, just by seeing him walk down the street, I remember that yes, God is the goal of life. We should remember that when we see the saffron color. Just like when you're driving and you see a policeman, you think, oh, I better stay in my lane. Right? If you don't see the policeman from time to time, you may forget. So when you see the Swami, you think, oh, maybe I should chant the holy names of God. So for this reason, the color is very useful. It is the uniform. Of course, originally the color saffron comes from people. There are many stories, but many years ago, Swamis would often, after taking this vow, they would go to the forest, they would meditate. And in the forest there are many wild animals, snakes, and when they're sitting in meditation with eyes closed, they are not aware of what is around them. So the animals are afraid of fire. So the saffron color is a color that reminds these creatures of fire. And therefore, even while sitting with their eyes closed or sleeping at night, they would be less threatened by such creatures of the jungle. But then when such persons came out to spread the glories of a spiritual lifestyle to humanity, the color became like the uniform in which they accept. And it's also very simple. For instance, for us to wash our clothes, these 2 pieces of cloth I wear, it takes about 1.5 minutes to wash and about a half hour to dry. Anywhere, everywhere. So it's very simple. And also, we go beyond fashion consciousness. People are very much thinking about the latest fashions, which is very much puts our mind on our bodies. We want to give our bodies the best it needs, but no more. Give it nutritious food, keep it very clean. But for a Swami, he wants to just minimize his bodily consciousness as far as possible. So Swamis have worn the same style and the same color for the last so many thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So we never think when we wake up, what should I wear today?